Settlemeyer gives it a ride. At the wall, it is gone! Abby Settlemeyer, on her senior day, makes it a one-run game in the 7th. Myrtle crushes it. The Swiftie on Taylor Swift night. It's only fitting, and Carolina has life in the 7th. Middleton lifts it in the left, and it's off the glove of Hess. Thompson scores. Comeback complete, and Carolina claims the series. Can tie the game with one crack of the barrel. Owen does just that. Six here in the 7th. Owen, sharp grounder, rolls it left. Coleman speeds around third. And North Carolina strikes first. It's the Marshall transfers getting the heels on the board. Battled multiple injuries in her career. A knee injury and a hand injury. But right now in the midst of the best season of her career. As she drives the 2-2 deep to right field. Back-to-back games with a first inning home run for Abby Settlemeyer. You see Kenneray Dark head back to the circle. Kenneray is a local product from Mebane, North Carolina, about 20 miles away from Chapel Hill. That's the closest hometown to UNC out of anyone of the team. And she made up her mind early. She committed to Carolina in 8th grade. And now as a sophomore has built herself into the leader of this Carolina pitching staff.
As someone who also committed in middle school, I have to say, well, so many people think you're crazy for doing so. The relationships you're able to build when you commit so early, it's almost like the coaches and the players you're playing next to become part of your family, because not only have you been with them for 4 years, but you're talking 7, 8 plus. And somebody who is just embodies North Carolina, but has gotten so much better throughout her career.
Yeah, when I was in middle school, I couldn't decide what I wanted my mom to pack me for lunch that day, let alone pick a college. It's senior day here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, as we get you set for a doubleheader on this Saturday afternoon. A pivotal ACC series comes to an end. Louisville took last night's game in a pitcher's duel. North Carolina looks for revenge here at Anderson Stadium on ACC Network Extra. Here's a look at the ACC standings entering today's game. Top 10 teams in the conference qualifying for the ACC championship. Louisville jumped up 2 spots from 10th place to 8th place with yesterday's win and some help from around the conference. Meanwhile, North Carolina still in the 7th spot despite the loss. So happy to have you with us here in Chapel Hill. She's former Northwestern 2A player Sydney Suplee. My name is John Gross. Sydney, Louisville claimed a much-needed win last night, and these two teams will wrap up this series in a really important doubleheader today.
After last night, Louisville went from just hanging on at 10th in the ACC, trying to make it to the ACC tournament, but now they're in 8th place, and it's kind of competitive back-and-forth battle between them and North Carolina, who could be at that top of the middle of the ACC pack, and this is their opportunity to claim their 2nd ACC series of the season.
Well, it is senior day, so it's only fitting that we touch on a North Carolina senior. Abby Settlemeyer has been lights out offensively in conference play. Critical time of the year in the ACC. We look around the conference. A couple doubleheaders going on today. How about Virginia? They have a chance to take 2 games from Duke and claim the series.
Everything that I have been seeing is they've been so impressed with Virginia coming at it against the best team in the ACC right now. Absolutely fearless. And there's something to say when you're playing with nothing to lose.
Virginia having a very solid season this year, and that resume would get a major boost with 2 wins against number 3 Duke. Here's Chelsea Mack to lead things off.
Even just talking about Duke and Clemson, two programs that are newer to the ACC and what they have brought to the conference in terms of national rankings, but just their ability to push these other ACC teams to continue to elevate their game. You're only going to see more of that when the conference gets even bigger next year.
Stanford joining, that's going to be quite the addition for ACC softball.
I mean, watching Nigeri Kennedy in this circle, I can't wait.
And one of the best pitchers in the country had a really good performance last night against UCLA. Some big series this weekend nationally, including that Stanford-UCLA series.
There is no better time than to be watching college softball right now.
Roller, dark, bobbles. A rare misplay by Carolina.
Chelsea Mack getting her first hit on the weekend, and the way she has stuck with it, she has had quality at bats, but this time she goes to her soft slap and forces Dark to try to field her position. And as a slow roller, as a pitcher, you have to be extra aggressive anytime you stay on your heels and let the ball come to you when you're leaving yourself vulnerable towards the bobble.
So Mack gets aboard. Louisville has now led off every single inning with a base runner. Riley Frizzell steps up with a runner on, which that's something we haven't said very often this weekend. Frizzell at bat with base runners.
Huge opportunity for the Cardinals. And you wonder, will Coach April put Mack in motion with Frizzell up to plate, try to get her on second base in scoring position?
That last at bat officially scored as an error, so Mack gets aboard courtesy of the E1. That is the first error committed by North Carolina all weekend.
You're starting to see Dark just start to miss a bit on her rise ball up in the zone. And an effective pitch, being able to come back and respond with her screwball. You want to be very intentional about how you're pitching Frizzell, who's been seeing the ball so well on both sides of the plate.
And a hitter's count on the way, 3-1. Already one walk for Riley Frizzell.
And oftentimes when you're throwing an off speed, you're trying to set up the hitter to be able to go back inside and have that speed differential.
Here it is, strike two.
I say that because that's what I used to do all day long. So it's always fun when you see it happen and a pitcher execute.
Full count here. Frizzell. Oh, it's Brooks. Another leaping snag at second.
And like I just said to you, I would love to see a highlight reel of just Brooks' play at second base all series long, because one, she's been a ball magnet, but she's been showing off her vertical, the way she times this line drive, getting up, the perfect time, thinks about doubling off, but Mack, great base running, staying tight to the base.
Brooks, the fourth-year starter, was a 5-sport athlete in high school, as Vanessa Miller watches in the dirt. Softball, track and field, basketball, volleyball, and tennis for all 4 years of high school.
Yeah, right now every single parent is saying, you need to play 5 sports. We want you to play like Brooks.
If you want to make those leaping catches, the barehanded snags, sign up for every sport you can.
Have no life outside of sports, practically.
And Brooks, not only tremendous on the field, but a multi-time All-ACC academic team honoree. Miller loops this to Settlemeyer for the second out.
That's a very effective pitch. You're seeing Dark, when she's able to hit the corner so tight towards the hitter, being a righty or lefty, that's when you get those jam kind of spray hits that she's been able to generate the last 2 batters.
So after the leadoff base runner, courtesy of Mack, couple quick outs. Here's Bailey Richardson. Richardson 0 for 1 today. Just misses. Draws the ire of some Carolina fans.
You've been seeing the reaction by Emmerling behind the plate, and you have to love when your catcher is your pitcher's biggest supporter, but it's also their job to become best friends with the umpires and try to work to get their pitchers that strike.
Oh, Myrtle almost brought it in. Tried to channel her inner Skylar Brooks right there.
Interesting looking at the glove of Myrtle. It's not a typical first baseman's glove that you see have extra few inches at the end. It's a normal middle infielder glove. You wonder if she had those extra few inches. Can she walk away with that catch?
Oh, great observation. Myrtle getting to start once again at first. Second start at first base this weekend. We saw Lexi Godwin head out yesterday after a scary collision. We send our best to Lexi, and really unfortunate to happen at any time, but especially during her senior day weekend. 3-1 off the glove of Myrtle. And Brooks will run it back in, and again, another inch or two maybe would have made the difference there.
We say that, and next weekend she'll come up with an even longer glove, but just twice, the ball going opposite field, line drive. You saw even a little hesitation on Richardson, not knowing if it was to be caught. And Brooks almost made another fantastic play. I think this is the first time we saw her be human and not actually come up and make it. But those are hard at any hot corners. But there is a rule of thumb. If it hits your glove, most of the time as an infielder, you feel like you should have it.
So 2 on for Maddie Grant. She is 1 for 1 already, and it was a big one, a solo blast back in the second as time is called by Emmerling.
And as soon as Dark threw that, you saw the way she landed, gingerly stepped off the mound. As a pitcher, I know that look, and I could sense it right away. And you see her kind of tap her landing leg. And I don't think a lot of people understand the amount of pressure you put when you're leaping through the air off of a mound. All of your weight of your body is going so hard on that one leg.
We'll certainly monitor that for Kenneray Dark in the circle. Grant out to right, on the move. Coleman is there. That wraps up the top half of the third. We go to the bottom of the third. Carolina back-to-back, down by 1.